Hello, welcome to my channel. I really want to appreciate those that have subscribed so far, those that have shared, those that have liked, those that have started this journey with me. Thank you and kudos to you. All right, in today's video I'm going to teach you how to draft, how to sew a collet trouser. A culotte trouser, or pants as some people may call it, is a kind of pants that has gathers on the waist. It's free like a skirt, right? So I'm going to teach you how to sew it to the finishing level. So I urge you, please stay through, watch the video to the end, like, share, subscribe, very important, subscribe, and turn up the notification bell so that you'll be notified anytime I upload a video here on my channel. All right, let's begin.
Okay, here we're making collet trousers, a kind of palazzo trouser that has gathers at the waistline. Okay, so I folded this fabric into four of equal length, equal width. Okay, both the front and the back, I folded it into four. So I'm going I'm going to take out 2 inches, okay, to take my vertical measurement. Take out 2 inches for my band too. So from that 2 inches I took out from my band, I'm just going to measure my vertical measurements. Okay, now in this culotte trouser, it's only your crouch depth that is needed, okay, for the vertical measurement, your crouch depth and your full length, that's all. So I'm just going to take my ruler and mark it across. Once I mark it across, I'll start taking my horizontal measurement, because I've already taken note of my full length and my hemming allowance. So when you are taking your horizontal measurement, we'll just come in by 3 inches, 3 inches at the waistline. So I will mark at so, then I'll go to the crouch depth or crouch line, come in by 3 inches and make a straight mark so I can get my curve very well. So I will just mark it, okay, mark a straight line across to get my curve. It will help me to get my curve. Now here, so after that, your hip line, okay, your hip, divide by 4 plus extra 5 inches or extra 4 inches, depending on how well you want the gathers to be at your waist. So you mark it right at your crouch line. Your hip line, divide by 4 plus extra 5 inches or extra 4 inches, depending on how loose you want it to be. So you mark it right there at the crouch level. You see here, I made mine 13. As I'm showing you, I made mine 13. You can go ahead to make yours 15, depending on how wide, okay, how full you want the gathers to be at the waist, or how loose, how big you want it to be, okay, on you. So you just go ahead to mark it. Okay, here I'm showing that my hip line, my hip circumference rather, divide by 4, okay, plus extra 5 inches. Then I'll now go ahead to cut it out. Just make from that curve that I've already made, cut it out all up to the waist. So I will go up to open up the side that is not opened, okay. You see how it is. I'm showing you again. So I will go ahead to open it on the side, okay. So after that, I will just open it up to you how it is, okay. See how it is. So this part of this kind of collet trouser doesn't require side seam, just the same way you sew the side of your trouser, your basic trouser. So the way it is folded, you just go ahead to reduce this side of your crouch depth. You come in by 1 inch, okay, all through the way down to the crouch line, you come in by 1 inch, okay? Then once you come in by 1 inch, you reduce it, you come in by 1 inch, then mark it down all the way to the anchor line, okay? In your, when you're making your own, mark it all the way down to the full line. So once you mark it out, you cut it out. The side that you cut out will now be the front side, okay, while the side that you did not reduce will be the back side. So you see here that I came in by 1 inch, it's the front side, while the other place I did not cut out is the back side. So we'll go ahead to now sew the front together, the back together. Now we're going to sew drafted culotte trouser. So this is the front and this is the back, okay? I will still go over to show you, fold it again so you can see the where to sew and where to start, okay? So I'll fold it into two to show you, okay, the back and the front. You see the part that came in, okay, after dressing it, the part that came in, it's the front side, okay, is the front that you sew together. Then the other side, this is the front, so this is the back. All right, this is the back. So now sew the back side, the crouch of the back side, and now sew the crouch of the front side. Okay, we'll finish sewing our crotch. Now we are going to join them together, the crouch of the back panel, join it with the crouch of the front panel, okay, just as you see me doing so. So I'll go ahead to match the front crouch with the back crouch. See how I'm doing it. So once you match them, make sure that the both sides are aligned very well together. Once you match it, then you now sew all the way down to the full length. From the crouch line, you start sewing down to the full length of one part of your trouser. Then you turn over again and start sewing from the crouch line to the other side of one of your one of the leg of your trouser. Okay, as you're sewing, you're dressing it, okay, as you're sewing, you're dressing it. Here we'll finish joining the crotch of the back with the crotch of the length. So I'll go ahead to measure round my waist, okay, so I can know the measurement of my band, okay, to cut it out. So once you're done measuring your round waist, okay, if you're done measuring your waist round about, this one is 36.5, so I'll go ahead to cut out my band. So when you are cutting out your band, okay, you make sure that you add 1 inch or half inch for sewing allowance, okay. So I'll just go ahead to iron my band into two. My band when I measured the round waist of my trouser, it was 36.5 inches plus 1 inch sewing allowance to join the band together as I'm doing so. So I measured 37.5 inches, that's 1 inch for sewing allowance. So I'll just join it together as I'm doing so and sew it together before I will now join it to or fix it to my trouser. So after sewing it together, okay, we'll now fix it on our trouser, the waist of our trouser. So I'll turn it over. You see how it is looking, okay, see how it is.
So I will take my measuring tape to check very well if it is exact with the measurement is exact with the waist of my trouser that I've already marked. So after taking the measurement again, we'll now go ahead to fix it to our trouser. So here it is exact, it's 36.5 inches. So we'll go ahead to fix it to the trouser as you watch me do so. Now you check the front or the back, okay? So we start fixing the band from the back. But before you start doing that, ensure that you trim off the excesses, okay? The fibers that are fraying out from your fabric, trim them off so that it will enable you have a smooth fixing of the band. So after trimming off the excesses, then we'll fix the band as you see me doing so. So the positive side of the band will face the negative side of the trouser, okay? So you join it together for the first time. See, I'm showing you again. Join it together. Attach the place that you join together to the place that you join together at the back panel of your crouch, okay, on the waistline. So you join it together and sew it round, just round the waist. So after sewing it, you cut off the thread and trim off the excesses, the fibers that are fraying out, okay? So now you see how it is for the first time that you sewed it round. Then at that place that you started joining, you flip over, okay?
When you flip over, you connect it to that point that you started sewing directly to the place you started sewing. So you fold it in, okay, lapping it on the place you sewed at first. So the line of your band where you join the shoe also align to the parts of your crouch, just as you see me doing so. So you now flip over. Once you flip over, you start sewing it round. Just sew it all the way around, and when you're sewing, ensure that you're dressing it, okay, and sew it in such a way that the place you sewed at first, the thread will not be seen, okay. So you now sew it over, like stitching on top of it, on top of where you've sewn before, okay. So once you sew it round, you leave 1 inch or 1.5 inch open, just as you see me do. So you not sew it till the end, okay. You leave an opening where you can fix your band, okay. So after sewing round, before we insert our elastic band, we'll then sew on top of the band, maybe leaving 1 inch depending. But how you can do it is you use your elastic band and place on top of it, okay. Place on top of it, give a gap from the top, all right. Place on top of it where it can enter when you're inserting it. Then you make a mark, okay, where you are going to stitch on. The essence of stitching on the band, that's leaving 1 inch downward, or half an inch, or 0.7 inch, depending on what you want. The essence of that is for the band not to go up to the end of the band, okay. I don't know if you understand what I'm saying. So that you see Culotte Trouser, you see it's folded, okay. The band is always at the middle, not at the end of the band. So just stitch on it, just as I've done so. before we insert our elastic band. You see where the opening is, so that's where I'm going to fix my elastic band. After fixing the elastic band, I would close it up, okay, to give us a neat finishing. So I will just go ahead. You can use your safety pin. Use your safety pin to fix the band, okay, to fix the elastic band inside your fabric, your band, okay. Then as you're pushing it, you're adjusting it, then it's forming the gathers on the waist, okay. It is forming the gathers on the waist. That's how you do it all through. All right. The, ensure that your band doesn't go inside the fabric, okay. So once you're done, you connect both bands together, your elastic band together, and sew it together, okay, to secure it. Once you're done sewing it together, you top stitch on it, just as you see me doing so. You top stitch on it, okay, as you see me doing so. You top stitch on it, then we'll now push it inside of the band. After top stitching, we'll now push it inside by stretching the band, as you see me doing so. We'll stretch it and push the band inside, okay. You just be dressing it, push it inside, push it and push it, dress it. Then you see how it is. So the band is already inside. We'll go ahead to stitch it up, the part that we did not close up. So we'll close it up, and when you're closing up, be careful not to sew on the band that is inside, okay. If you sew on the band that is inside, it will make the elastic band not to stretch again, okay. That part that is stitched on top will not stretch again. So to avoid not stretching, and it will affect your waist when you are putting it on, it may be too tight. So to avoid such thing, you need to not sew on the band. So be careful when you're closing up the fabric, the band rather, that you don't stitch on the elastic band, okay. Don't stitch on the elastic band. So you cut off the thread. You see how beautiful it is looking. You can decide to put belt, but we are going to put belt. I'll teach you how to fix the belt. Or you can decide to leave it like this, okay. It's perfectly okay. Anyone you choose, it's okay, whether to leave the belt or not, or even whether to sew the belt different and just be tying it around, or to fix the belt. But I'm going to fix the belt on the trouser. So I've already cut out my band strips, or what I'm going to use as the belt, okay. So I'll just fix it by the side, okay. Fix it by the side and close it up, just as you see me doing so. So our trouser is almost ready, like someone say ready. All right, after fixing your belt, just go ahead to hem your hemming allowance together, or seam allowance, what you choose to call it. I'm just happy that
this trouser came out very beautiful and fine, so fitted, like very fitted. The waist, I don't have issues on the waist. So you go ahead to fix your hemming allowance. Here I use my hemming gum, okay, to hold my hemming, the hemming of my trouser together before I sewed it around, just as you see.